All right, YouTube. This Detroit's HPTV coming to you out of Detroit with another video. Today, again, we're going to talk about Roland Martin. I knew Roland Martin reminded me of Joy Reid, his disrespect of Black Americans that he say he represent. Guess what I found out? His people from Haiti. He Haitian. Yes, sir, he Haitian. Just like the rest of these disrespectful immigrants that come over here and talk down to Black people. He's Haitian. Now, who in here wants to go visit Haiti? Who in here wants to go and vacation and migrate to Haiti? Oh, all you got to do is Google his parents and see where his parents from before they moved to Louisiana. This man is a Haitian tether. Did y'all know that? That's why Roland Martin is so disrespectful to Black people and Black Americans with the Black experience. This is why people like him and Joy Reid and Kareem Bastille are hired by the Biden Democratic administration because they're tethers. They have real no tie. They have real no ties to American culture or American history. Roland Martin is the epitome of what's wrong with this country. I'm gonna show you the clip of how he talks to a Black man from America that went and fought in the military and fought for the country, but because he's a conservative, Roland Martin don't think he has to have any respect for him. Roland Martin wants to be condescending to Black Americans, while all the time hiding his Haitian roots, hiding the fact that he's from Haiti. No wonder he's so mad at Trump because of what Trump called that S country that you see right now over there with cannibalism and in an uproar that's being a threat to this whole region of the world. Oh yeah, Google it. Google and find out where his parents from. They're from Haiti. He's Haitian. And his disrespect and how he talks down to Black people, it all makes sense. Him and Joy Reid, it all makes sense why they're so disrespectful. But let's get into the video. This is for fair usage, educational purposes, under the 1976 Copyright Act. Let's look at how this tether talks about Black people.
So, Texas Republican Wesley Hunt, not too happy with the John Lewis Voting Act. He actually goes, "Oh, voting is not hard. It's fairly easy." So he speaks before Congress. And if y'all want a good laugh, just listen to this Black Republican.
Thank you, Chairman Durbin and Ranking Member Graham, for having me here today to speak about voting rights in America, the country that I love dearly. More importantly, I'm here to talk about the left's soft bigotry of low expectations. Because it's the Democrat Party, not the Republican Party, that thinks so little of Black America as a people of color that they make the case that being Black in America means we can't obtain a government ID to vote. And that's not only a ridiculous assertion, it's demeaning and it's insulting. When it comes down to it, many of my colleagues on the left like to pretend that we're still living in the 1950s. Well, we're not. I've got some good news for you. It's 2024, and I know what year it is because I've been Black for just over 40 years. And I'm also the son of a retired lieutenant colonel who grew up in the segregated South. You see, my parents grew up in a Jim Crow South in the 50s and 60s in New Orleans, Louisiana. Their next generation, my parents had 3 kids. My sister, brother, and I all went to West Point, all 3 of us. We all served our country in combat. And I sit before you today as a sitting United States congressman in a district in a suburb of Houston, Texas, that's a white majority district, that President Trump would have won by 25 points, and I won by almost 30 points. And that doesn't happen unless we've made some incredible progress in this great nation. Now, my colleagues on the left like to say that common sense voting laws, including requiring a government-issued ID, are racist, discriminatory, and burdensome. Do you know what my father had back in the 40s and 50s before it was even cool? A government-issued ID. And continuing in his footsteps, I too have multiple government issued IDs. And while that might be shocking to many people in this country, you may ask, how's that happen? It's very simple. It's personal responsibility for all Americans in this country, regardless of what you look like. Sitting with me today is my global entry card, my military ID card, my Texas driver's license, my Texas license to carry, because that's how we roll in Texas, my congressional card, and of course, the good old-fashioned American passport. What sorcery is this? What am I, the Black Houdini? How was I able to pull off the impossible and attain not one, not two, not three, but 6 government-issue IDs? Personal responsibility in this country. I fought for this country as an Apache helicopter pilot to protect free and fair elections, and having a government-issued ID isn't racist, it's American. You need to have an ID to drive a car, check into the airport, open a bank account. You need an ID for basically everything to be a responsible adult in this country, except for voting, apparently, according to the left. Black America does not need well-meaning liberals putting their arms around us and telling us how we should go to the polls. In fact, if you look at recent headlines and polls, you will find that Black men specifically in this country are more fired up than ever to participate in the next presidential election. And I think I know why, and I'm really looking forward to these results. For the record, in the 2022 midterms in Georgia, it proved that election integrity and ballot accessibility can be achieved hand in hand. After the 2020 election, Georgia passed a voter election integrity law, and subsequently, the Department of Justice filed a lawsuit against the state of Georgia, alleging that the Georgia law is discriminatory and aims to restrict citizens from voting. President Biden even called this law, and I quote, Jim Crow 2.0. Really? In my humble opinion, referencing Jim Crow for common sense election integrity laws is offensive to those who actually experienced Jim Crow, like my parents and their parents before them. In fact, the law wasn't discriminatory at all, because in the 2022 midterms, Georgia voters shattered voter turnout records across the state. And despite that record-breaking turnout in Georgia, the DOJ lawsuit is still pending. I suspect that it's because that record-breaking turnout. All right, I couldn't hear enough of that bullshit any longer from Wesley Hunt. So let me explain to you. So maybe Wesley will understand this better if I put this on, because he wants to sit here and talk about his parents and him being from Texas and him being from a suburb of Sugar Land, that's a majority white district that I almost won by 30,000 points, and I've got 6 voter IDs. And
Roland, you're very disrespectful to this man that served this country. But as a typical Democratic tether, you want to talk about him. Talk about your Haitian ancestry. Talk about how you a tether. You don't talk about reparations as far as a Black person is concerned, because you're not entitled to them. See, this is the people that we listen to in this community. Roland Martin, he disrespects the other brother who's a foundational Black American. And it says right here, his people migrated from Haiti to Louisiana, where his family originates. But they originate in Haiti. Why don't you talk about Haiti and how much you love Haiti and your real roots? Stop playing with the people's intelligence, Roland. Tell us you Haitian. The same people we trying to keep out the country. Them your cousins coming over here on them boats, huh? Allegedly. Everything is allegedly until you Google it. He is very disrespectful to Black people. He call you Simple Simon. He say all kind of stuff to you because he's from Haiti. Did y'all know that? Does he come out here and tell y'all about his Haitian roots? No, he don't. He comes and act like he been here. He comes and act like he's entitled to tell black people what it is like to be American. And he's a tether, according to Google, allegedly. But let's listen to him.
Y'all notice he kept talking about personal responsibility. People just have some personal responsibility, and so that's really the problem. And these liberals saying that black people, they can't get a voter ID. See, that's the language they always use. Go to my iPad. New analysis, folks. This was last year. Millions of Americans lack forms of ID that are increasingly required to vote. What you will not hear from the Wesleys of the world is that key finding in the analysis. As of 2020, nearly 29 million voting age U.S. citizens did not have a non-expired driver's license, and over 7 million did not have any other form of non-expired government-issued voter ID. It says in states with strict voter identification laws, including Georgia, Indiana, Kansas, Mississippi, Tennessee, and Wisconsin, over 3 million voting age U.S. citizens did not have a current driver's license, and over 1 million did not have any non-expired government license. Oh, it says right here, more than 11 million young people did not have a current driver's license, and more than 3 million did not have any unexpired government ID. Now, keep reading. 18, 19-year-olds. You see them talking about their ability to be able to vote. Then you see right there, as they continue to talk about the numbers there, the underrepresented groups. It says that an estimated 1.86 million Black and non-Hispanic Americans, 1.86 million Hispanic Americans lack a photo ID. 4.5% of those identify as Native American. This compares to just 2.3% of white non-Hispanic and 1.6% of Asian. You keep it on there. You heard Wesley Bell talk about, oh, you got to have an ID to open a bank account. Well, the reality is, it's a lot of people in America who don't have bank accounts. Then you see it says right here, the analysis found a strong relationship between income and lack of a driver's license, with adult Americans earning less than $30,000 lacking a driver's license at a rate about 5 times greater than the highest income category of 100,000 or more. So let me go ahead and put it to you like this. The sheer arrogance of a Wesley Hunt is he wants to sit here and go,
the sure arrogance of a Haitian to be so condescending to an American veteran whose parents served this country in the military. The Democrats have emboldened these shills to the point to where they disrespect is so rampant. He has a lot of nerve to talk about that brother whose father served in the military, whose siblings served in the military, who himself served in the military in honor of this country and to protect this country. And this Haitian Democratic shield has the nerve to get in front of you and be this condescending and disrespectful.
oh, I have this ID and this ID, and I got a passport. Hey, Wesley, since you want to be a smart ass, why don't you tell people how much a passport costs? Oh, that could be it. Hey, Wesley, why don't you tell people how the laws are written, such as in Ohio, when they required birth certificates in order for you to get the ID, and the birth certificate had to be a certain paperweight. Do you want to talk about how many?
What he's doing is he's lying. Anytime you use your birth certificate to get other ID, it has to be the original, which is on a different type of paper than a photocopy. You see how these Democrats do? You see how they do? You see how he twisting that? Everybody who's an American citizen who has a birth certificate with the seal of the state on it, it's on a different type of paper because it's the original. It's like telling the difference between a real dollar bill and a counterfeit dollar bill. So you mean to tell me people should just have photocopies, IDs, and run around here with a photocopy? This is outrageous that he stands before Black Americans, foundational Black Americans in this country, and he tries to tear you down for being conservative when all the time he's Haitian. His loyalty is to the Democratic Party and Haiti. Yeah, think about that the next time you say, oh, this is a good brother. He ain't no brother of ours.
Older
Not even a
voters
cousin.
who could not vote because when they were born in Jim Crow hospitals, since you want to bring up Biden and Jim Crow, how they couldn't access their birth records. So therefore, and remember, oh, by the way, Wesley, since Yola ass from Texas, there are two types of birth certificates. There's the original birth certificate, and there's a birth certificate from the Bureau of Vital Statistics. Some states actually required the original birth certificate, the one where you used to have the 2 feet on the actual birth certificate, and they would actually specify in some of the laws how the seal needed to be raised, and then they would say that the certificate from the Bureau of Vital Statistics, that wasn't applicable. Oh, I noticed how you skipped over all of that. I noticed how you skipped over.
I notice how you skip over the fact that you Haitian. I know that. I know you're not telling Black Americans that you're Haitian. You just like Joy Reid. The Democrats put you out there because you got the same skin tone as us, foundational Black Americans, us real Black Americans. But you're Haitian and disrespectful and a Democratic shield and the chief sellout in our community. But you want to disrespect this other man like you somebody we should really pay attention to. I'm gonna let y'all continue to listen to him. Look at his attitude, his behavior.
When Pennsylvania passed their voter ID law, how they then said that in order for you to, if you did not have an ID, you had to then go to the center, appear in person, fill out an affidavit, go back home, apply for your voter ID, and then when it came in, you had to come in and pick it up. Oh, Wesley, what about the people who have no car, who use public transportation? Now you're requiring them to spend money on transport.
Listen to his argument. Listen to his whole argument. If you don't got no car and you got to just catch the bus to go get your ID, it's ridiculous. This is why the Democrats won't pay him anymore. This is why his handlers have cut his money off. He's ineffective. He's saying that we don't know how to vote if we want to vote. He has the same condescending mentality of his handlers, the same disrespect for Black Americans as his handlers. He's just like Joy Reid. They're not from here. I can't say it any plainer. This liberalism has opened our borders to these people from these other countries, and they come to this country and they are the most disrespectful people that you've ever seen when it comes to dealing with Black Americans. But he will not tell you he's Haitian.
Go pick the ID up. For everybody who's watching, I just need y'all to understand. This is how these trifling Republicans want to pimp us, and then they use blackface to sit here.
This Haitian got a lot of nerve. You hear this Haitian trying to co-opt foundational Black Americans? But he will never tell you he's Haitian. Just like Joy Reid would never tell you that she's from one of those third world countries either. But they parade them out in front of us because they have the complexion that they need to try to misinform and miseducate Black Americans. He's very disrespectful to be a guest in our community.
Don't talk about my history and my parents, and I grew up in Jim Crow, and I did this here, and I served my country, and me and 3 of my siblings, we all went to West Point. Oh, we're just good old Americans. And the problem is you can't get no voter ID. It's because you don't have any personal responsibility. You just lazy. You can't get out there and spend the money to go get your passport. Well, why in the hell do you need a passport if your ass can't afford to leave the country? See, the arrogance of people like Congressman Wesley Hunt is they don't.
I got to keep stopping. The arrogance of a Haitian who ain't never stood for this country, never served in the military, never did anything but be a shield for the Democratic Party and their debaucherous dealings with Black Americans. This is shameful. Please share this video. I don't think people know he's Haitian. They think people like him and Joy Reid are really one of us. This is what makes it so insulting.
Want to accept the reality that everybody's not like the rest of us. I've had this conversation with some other Black people. Roland, I don't understand what's the problem. I'm like, oh, so your college educated ass, you were sitting here saying, well, I have this and I have that. Why can't they? Since I went ahead and brought up college educated, you saw Wesley Hunt sit there and pull out his right to carry card. And he said, oh, Wesley, did you also forget that in your state of Texas, in my home state, that if you are a student at Texas Southern University, you probably ain't never even walked on that campus. Or at Texas A&M, or Texas Tech, or Sam Houston State, or North Texas, or any state institution, that's a state ID. Oh, I'm sorry, in Texas, you can't use your government state ID from your state college because your fellow Republicans banned them. Oh, but you can use your gun permit. You can use your gun ID, but you can't use your state ID. We know what the games are. And so you sat there for 6 minutes and said a whole bunch of nothing. And all you are down with are denying people.
This is all game. He doesn't, he just is being disrespectful because he's not a foundational Black American. He's not a Black American. He's Haitian. And he wants to disrespect Wesley Hunt, a veteran that fought for the country, whose father was a veteran. Roland, your people are immigrants. They came over here and did the same thing the rest of these immigrants do. They came over here and took a job from another American, sent you to school, and now you come out to school hiding the fact that you're Haitian, talking down to Black Americans. This is what's going on. This is what you're doing.
Opportunity. And here's the other thing that's so crazy. I filled up my voter registration card many times, had it certified. They mail it back to me. It used to be I could just come in with my voter registration card, had my name, had my address, had everything on it. They look down, here it is, go vote. No. And I also noticed, Wesley, you didn't bring up the more than 1,000 voting locations that were shut down after Shelby v. Holder. I noticed you didn't talk about how voting locations in Mississippi were being changed the night before the election. So on election day, folk didn't.
I can't take no more of him. And I'm not gonna put his video in the community section. This was a fair use under the 1976 Copyright Act. So let me state again. Are you black people, black Americans, and other Americans, white Americans, that's been here, are you not tired of these disrespectful immigrants that the Democratic Party puts in front of you, that disrespect you and make you feel that because you have conservative views and values that there's something wrong with you, while they hide and never talk about the origin of them? He never gives a show about how Haitian he is. This is pathetic. This is another instance of this democratic institution to where he sits there and he disrespects Wesley Hunt so bad, and he ain't even from here. Sounding to you out of Detroit. Keep your head on a swivel. Salute to all patriots. Peace. Like, share, and subscribe.